Alright, it worked.
Alright, we're live.
We are
Not
live.
really.
No, we're not.
Alright, we're recorded.
We are the Suicide Squad.
I mean, yeah.
Sort of.
All of us are, yeah.
I mean,
Kind of in spirit.
in the future.
Alright, so let's get started.
Welcome.
Welcome.
These are our
Friends.
3 nominations for the
Kimball.
EBoard. Kimball.
Kimball, we know you're watching this.
Hi,
Yeah.
Kimball.
Our beloved viewer.
Solitary viewer.
Our beloved 11 viewers. And they're all the same guy.
Just Kimball multiple times.
I mean, each one of our videos is like 12 views a piece, so he watches it at least a couple times.
Although before we get too off track, this is our presidential campaign thing.
We have prepared a massive list of very, very important and controversial questions to
No, we
ask
haven't.
these
Alright, let's
candidates.
introduce ourselves. Let's start from down the end of the couch, Brendan.
Hi, my name is Brendan Creedon. I am running for public relations.
Hi, I am Brendan's master and lord. My name is Jay. I'm running for treasurer.
I am Lee, Independent Party, and I'm running for VP. You'll notice that none of us are actually running a presidential campaign.
That'll be, we'll save that for a later date. Kevin Downing will be here shortly, as in tomorrow.
To be continued.
To be continued. Any thoughts, first of all? Anything anyone wants to share before we ask anything in particular?
I think it's going to be a good race.
It's going to be a good race.
I think the 2 miles is usually a good race.
2 miles is a good one. I like that. Yeah. It's not as fast as
It's never actually a close race, though.
What's
See, I like
that?
watching the 400. That's always a close race.
I hate the 400. I hate running.
It's not a fun race to run.
No.
It's my favorite one.
It's like the hardest race.
But it's so much fun.
At
And
least
it's
my-
not a distance race.
My coach told me that one time and I was so mad at him. I mean, I knew it was true, but at the same time, like, you don't have to say that. Come on, it makes me feel bad.
It's not a distance race, but it's like border between
Yeah.
distance and sprint.
Well, can you
I wouldn't go that far.
It's like close.
Yeah,
to
It's
It's
definitely
a
between
sprint.
sprint and
I'd say
mid-distance.
I'd say it's more of a sprint than there's
It's
sprinting
definitely
in distance, and it's like over here, you know, maybe between mid distance like these.
Yeah.
Like a distance runner definitely can run a 400, but a sprinter is going to be better at it.
Yeah.
Don't forget to turn on the hair.
But
I am not fast.
Me. I'm just sitting here like, yes, they're talking about running.
Oh, we
And
have to
then
do that
I'm
every time.
Max. Just
so just every 5
Every
minutes.
2.5 minutes, we have to.
Yeah.
go
Guys, okay,
black
that's
on
a
the
bit.
screen.
For everyone who doesn't know,
Yeah.
because you can't see the
Yeah.
screen from our perspective, the screen's going dark a little bit every 5 minutes.
Yeah,
so
you
we
just
have to-
broke the fourth
we
wall.
have to roll the thing.
Yeah, we're supposed to pretend like no one's watching. Essentially.
No one is watching.
That is true.
That's true.
We're doing this for our own amusement.
So no harm, no foul. There we go.
And to be fair, we are recording right now, so I mean we are kind of watching the feedback from it, but
We-
Yeah, so we have at least 7 viewers.
Hey, we are our own viewers.
All right.
Ben, get off your phone. You're supposed to be viewer.
No cell phone. Hi, do you want the interview? Come back.
That was not funny.
Come back, Lee.
I get it.
Alright, let's get a little more
Okay,
serious.
down to
Not like
questions.
not
You didn't see
serious.
that coming.
Not like not funny, but still a little serious.
Crazy.
What do you think of the competition, Brendan? Who you got going against Jay?
I have Owen McCarthy against me. I respect him as a candidate, and I wish him the best of luck.
Okay, alright. Jay, what about you?
To carry some extra coffee with me.
Oh, okay. Wise move. I get it. Lee?
What's the... Oh, like who's running
Hey,
against us?
who you got to go up against?
The presidential candidate, Kevin, and then also Bridget.
Okay, alright. Same
So,
as Jay.
yeah.
Are you concerned though that one of the very hyped presidential candidates is also your competitor for VP?
Well, I think he's focusing on president, so that I'm not worried about him. I'm worried about, like, Bridget would do a good job as VP, because she's already in admin, she knows how it goes. Come on.
What?
She does have experience.
Experience is important. I think I'd do a better job, because that's why I'm running, but...
Okay, alright. I think you'll do a good job too. I think she'll be alright.
As a candidate, you kind of are required to say that you think you'd do a better job.
Yeah.
Pause!
Pause.
Why are
Don't
we
push pause.
Why
I'm
are
just
we
gonna say pause and talk.
No, I'm not pausing this shit. What?
Brenda, just talk. We can edit it out.
Yeah,
We
it's
won't.
on your computer.
Okay.
You can
We
cut
won't
whatever you
do
want.
it.
Brendan Creed, don't do it, okay?
That was not funny.
Okay.
I've been saying that
so bad.
I've been saying that for a while.
Brendan,
Jimmy.
what?
Suck a dick.
Nah, I wanted to ask, do you think we should like do pauses and stuff?
No.
Oh, bathroom breaks? Nothing.
No.
No bathroom breaks.
If you have to go to the bathroom, just go.
just
Yeah.
real-time bathroom?
We are.
No cutting.
We'll wait and we'll sit here silently until you get back.
Okay. Sounds
And everyone's gonna have to watch it.
Yeah. All one of Kimball. All 12 of Kimball.
Fast forward a whole 30 minutes and it's like, what the hell? What's taking this kid so long?
Taking the mean shit.
So do you have any more questions, Dan?
I think I'm all set for now, Kevin.
All right, so this is a very controversial topic, and the first person I'm going to ask it to is Jay. It's a very, very controversial topic. Most people are very heated over this debate.
Don't you dare. Don't
And
you dare.
Boxers or briefs?
No, it's
I
close to
have
that.
a very
It's
strong
close to
feeling
that.
I know what he's gonna say.
I don't think you do though. So I wait. I ask that you wait for me to finish the question before saying.
Well, I'm gonna let you finish. I'm gonna let you
blurting
finish.
out your
I'm gonna
answer.
finish.
Okay.
Because I know you probably are, like most people, very heated about this debate and have an opinion that you'll just blurt out as soon as I ask the question.
I know exactly what this question is.
But, no you don't actually. I know what you think I'm gonna say.
Shut the fuck up. Just ask it.
Just ask the question.
So, I want to know where you're standing on this debate. Tomatoes or tomatoes?
Don't answer that. Emma, what do you think?
I'm a tomatoes
No,
person.
what do you have for questions? 'Cause I'm not gonna
Oh,
Brendan slowly leaves the fridge.
Right. So in that case, I would like to pull up the sheet. So what does it mean to you to be a peer mentor? I'm sorry, that's from earlier in the day.
I did not get the job.
Ah.
Oh.
Being a peer mentor is an amazing opportunity.
You're not on camera.
I know.
Yeah. Okay.
And
Just
anyone
becoming
fortunate
better.
enough to get the position is awesome. That's my answer.
It also typically takes
Stunt double. Ben.
It also takes like 3
You're my stunt
times.
double.
What?
You're my stunt double.
But
For what?
That'll give him time.
For this position. Oh, he'll be on camera, but he'll be me. Ah!
Same.
That'll give him screen time.
Necessary.
Totally necessary.
So what does diversity mean to you? And this one I'm actually being serious. How are we going to diversify mass games? It's all of you.
Okay.
Mass games, it needs to be open to everybody. One of the things that I find that mass games is lacking is advertisement in Southwest. Living in Southwest, I have an understanding of what the atmosphere is like. A lot of people believe that the atmosphere in Southwest is mostly athletes. Southwest houses over 60% of UMass, and there's little to no advertisement there. And selected into the PR position, that's one of the things that I would like, is advertisement there. And as a club, we also need to embrace equality. And maybe we could have a Stonewall event, or a representative come. That's my answer.
That's a good answer.
Thank you.
Do you think there have been specific incidences of inequality within the club?
I personally don't know of any specific ones. However, I do believe that mass games, we need to represent the club very well.
Jay, where's your brand hammer?
Alright, going back to that previous question I asked, do either of you two have anything to say about
About the diversity one?
Yes.
So, me personally, I'm a very friendly and outgoing person. So I don't really care about, especially where on campus you come from, because UMass is like a square mile-ish. And there's a lot of people here, and mass games is very small right now. So what I've been doing as a player is just pretty much every single one of my friends I'll push HVZ towards them. And a few of them have joined, or at least signed up. But I'd probably just take a little more time to really go out there and just, anyone I come in contact with, just be like, hey, this is something fun. Doesn't really matter who you are, where you come from, just, we're all here. We all want something fun to do.
Good answer.
that? That's a good answer. I was about to quote Meowth from Pokemon on that one, because it sounded a lot like something he would say.
the dream that black people and white people and even Chinese people can all gamble together.
Use the same chips! Alright, Lee, what do you think about diversity?
Well, obviously I agree with them that it's very important that we, reach out to all aspects of the community, and advertising is a big part of that. I think the efforts that have been talked about already to happen this year are important steps. First of all, we have to get the posters out. Posters aren't everything, first of all. We have to do more than posters. The idea of putting up, tables and tents outside to actually grab people, and maybe even put some up, I don't know, just do, actively have people in Southwest. Just, chalk is a good thing that, obviously I've seen you guys use chalk very effectively. Just put it everywhere, gets the word out, people come. The darkening. So yeah, just, you have to make sure you're not targeting one specific group. Make sure people know it's not just for the nerds, not just for the athletic people. There's parts of HVZ for everyone, and not just HVZ, but the rest of mass games as well, because we're not running for just Officer of Humans vs. Zombies. We're running for an officer of all of mass games.
Absolutely. I can agree more with that statement right there.
And
You
actually,
bring up, you bring up a very good point in which you said that it's not just for intended for nerds, but at the same time, and this is a question for all of you, it does have a very nerdy reputation in that a lot of people see it as a game for just nerds. Do you think that with this massive reputation, can we pull it back to a much more broader range of people?
well, before I address your question, I just want to go back to Lee's previous statement and add on to that while we were still on the topic. And especially because I very much look forward to working with you since we're running in different positions. I would totally agree that the posters definitely are not enough right now. And with tabling, it's a great idea, but I feel like we need not just more active people working at the table, more in a more outgoing group to show the community that we are a very welcoming and friendly group of people.
I'd like to comment about the tabling. I noticed that a lot of people were on their cell phones doing homework while tabling. As a group, we need to step it up. We need to be much more proactive. We should be doing skits. We should be in Southwest. We should be at almost any single dining coming here. We need to be very proactive because we as a whole, we're representing the club. And if you have a few people that are misrepresenting it, it's going to just look bad on us at all.
And actually, to add on to your statement and answer your question about how if people just think that this is a club for nerds, with skits or just new ideas like that, I feel like a new way we need to approach advertising is approaching people's sense of humor, like I mentioned at the general body meeting, because we take, as EBoard, we would take our jobs very seriously, but the club itself is recreational, so we need to make sure that fun is actually fun and not business. And instead of trying to appeal to our audience as a very serious group of people, we need to appeal to their sense of humor.
Good answer.
One thing as a PR I would like to do, YouTube videos. We could have epic battles, we could have dubstep, we could do all sorts of stuff. I remember you used a YouTube video, Emma, and that was
Yes.
freaking amazing.
Yeah, I ran on the platform of YouTube videos.
We need to step that up.
Yeah, that was actually going to be a follow-up question with so how about new media? And
Exactly.
You aren't about it.
I heard that we have a Twitter page. Never even heard of it.
And so,
I don't even know how to use Twitter. Twitter is just beyond.
so I have another question. This is.
I just wanted to add on to the tabling thing. It is important that the people, are on their phone, and they do try to engage people. If you've ever been to any of the activity expos, or ever been to a college fair or anything, those people know how to rope people in. If you look at a table for too long, they'll be like, "Oh hi, how's it going?" And you can't just run away. You have to sit, stay there.
I
And talk to
mean,
them. Okay.
if
you don't want to be rude,
You are now trapped by societal
fine.
conventions.
The polite people will stop.
The people we want.
Yeah, but the thing is, that's another thing. If we want to branch out, you can't pick and choose who you try to stop. You have to be looking for because anyone could be a potential player.
Yep.
And that's really important in growing our base. So, that's what I have to say. So, you can ask her. I'm sorry for...
Yeah, no, that, absolutely. My question is on not diversity of players now, but diversity of games. There's much talk of a LARP existing. And as Lee stated, you are going to be EBoard members, not just admins for HVZ. So what are your plans for new and exciting mass games?
Personally, I'm open to any ideas that we can do. Yes, HVZ is the biggest main event. However, I feel like we could incorporate LAR, maybe do an Assassin's game, and just be open to the players. Like, put in a question board and ask, what games would you like to see?
Cough, cough, another club is doing Assassin's and mass games.
Shut up, Ben.
Not here.
This won't be posted on the
I'm done,
Games
yeah.
group.
Well, to answer your question, me personally, I loved Impact, and I feel like that would be the main thing I focus on the EBoard, because last year I had more fun with Impact than I did with HVZ, and that's mainly because Impact is a Impact only takes plays over the course of a few days versus the 2-week span for HVZ, and it gives you a lot of ability to really incorporate a much bigger story where all your players are very interactive with it, because no one's restricted by an exam that they have in the middle of the game or something, because it's such a very brief period of time. And it really gives you the opportunity to add just a big twist and big creativity towards it without really having any negative effects.
Yes, Brendan.
I would also like to go back to Nerf Wars. Like, last semester we had one almost every single weekend. We have yet to add one this semester, and
that brings me to my next point. That brings me to my next question, actually.
Well,
Lee, do you have any
Lee
additions
gets to answer the question. I already made this mistake once.
It's fine. So, I think it is important to do a LARP-like thing, and they have mentioned that there is something in the work, and I did sign up to be an admin for that. I am going to be actively contributing to helping put that LARP together. In addition to that, I think that we should have maybe a few weekends leading up to HVZ, mini missions, not just learn to play, but also obviously learn to play style, but more of them. Get more people involved because it's not just an introduction to it's a fun thing to do. That's why people do it. So doing it more, especially since we don't have the Nerf Wars anymore because of the ban, it's just something to replace that. And obviously we can think of more things. If Assassin is taken, it's taken. But we have to diversify, and when we lose one thing, we have to pick it up with one or even more things. So it's very vague and broad, but it's what I got.
Brendan?
Another comment that I'd like to make, I really want to focus more on the community. Our community is filled with such a great amount of people, and everyone that I've met in this community, they're very nice, and I feel like that we should start doing more family dinners in general, and just hang out, and come up with games on the spur of the moment, and just be there for each other. I mean, we're all from different neighborhoods of campus, and we all get along pretty well, and I'd like to see more of that.
That's true.
I have a question for our 3 candidates. It might seem a little trivial, but there has been enough conversation about this within the club, even if it's not entirely relevant. Blasters or guns?
Blasters.
I call them Nerf guns.
Blasters. If you call it guns, then you're essentially agreeing with administration's decision. You're validating it.
I mean, I'm just going with the name on the box.
That's true, but I'd rather go with the name that we had an agreement with the campus police that this was an okay thing to call it, and they have never had a problem with it. So why, even though we're calling it the same thing, we're using it the same as before, why now do we have to change?
I think we should just call them toys. Now on blasters.
Nerf toys?
Just not even Nerf toys, just in the context of the argument, just only say toys. Why? You took our toys away, you asked. Why don't you do that? That's a good question. Taking away our toys. So the blaster bit. I mean, we've already had elements that come up in the questions, but do any of you think we should move on and work around? Obviously, Lee, you said we should add more games to replace the ones that we've lost. Or do you think we should try a little bit harder to reevaluate the position and see if we can get UMass to change their minds about the whole ordeal? Yes, Brendan?
I feel we can do both. We can continue pushing to get Nerf blasters back on campus. At the same time, in the meantime, we should be coming up with more ideas. And continue pushing to do an off-campus event. And it's unacceptable that there really hasn't been much. Like, we need to do more in general.
Well, I think the biggest thing with blasters was it was a big source of player creativity.
You said blasters. Sorry.
My bad.
Say blasters if you want, right? That's fine.
The point being, they were a very large source of creativity for the players because a lot of people they played so that they could modify their Nerf blasters, their toys. So they could modify their toys and use H3Z Impact as a way to show that off, or even Nerf Force to do that. And it was also a great way for people to interact because me personally, I loved going up to people and asking about what they did or how they did it. So I think we could add a new element to the games to inspire player creativity, like how in Impact and Nerf Wars we have buffers, which are always a great time because
especially when you can dual wield.
Yeah, that's another thing. Dual wielding
and breaking shields.
But what about the infamous bluffer?
Let's take the question though. Anyway.
But that was a very creative idea by Matt Murch, who made a buffer sword that would also shoot marshmallows, and it was very unique at the time and worked very effectively. And I think we need to incorporate more things like that into the game that will spark a player's creativity and interest.
Agreed. Lee, anything on the blaster ban?
Yeah, obviously we should be trying to find ways to work around it. Maybe, obviously going like straight to the administration saying we want our blasters back probably isn't the best strategy at this point. Obviously it's been tried. Obviously we've gotten nowhere. The administration just doesn't want to cooperate. But I think it is important to start just incrementally trying to get them to see our point of view. Like, first and foremost, try to get some indoor Nerf wars maybe happening, maybe in the campus center, or somewhere inside, because they have, what's it called? Laser tag. They have laser tag inside. And what are those? They're weapon facsimiles.
Yeah, right.
So
they're in the dark too. So
incredibly dark.
They don't even have orange. No, they don't even have orange tips, man. No orange tips.
No orange tips.
Yeah, I love how instead of blasters, now we have metal pipes.
Yeah.
Now we have metal pipes.
It's just fantasy, caught in a landslide, no escape from reality.
I remember. Lee was talking.
Yeah.
To make up for the safety, how unsafe the toys are,
Right.
we're going to give them metal pipes instead. It seems like a great idea.
Which aren't banned.
Aren't banned, metal pipes.
And we can call them blowguns. Not blow blasters, blowguns.
Blow blasters.
Blow blasters.
Blow toys.
Damn, that sounds like a you problem. But
Who said that?
And if a zombie tried to tag somebody, they could run right into them.
Yeah,
That
it's
has
right
happened.
in
That
your
has
mouth.
happened, and it hurts.
That actually happened to me.
That
Sorry.
hurts.
I was the one with the blowgun, and even I got hurt by it.
because it jams on
It's in your
No,
mouth.
no. I turned around and it was in my hand, and it jammed straight into my hand.
Oh. See, I've gotten hit in the teeth when it's up to go like
No,
somebody will
yeah.
like hit into it and just right into your teeth. Ow.
So I have a serious question for our candidates.
Were you
No, Lee, I'm sorry. Were you? No, I don't want to cut Lee off.
No, I don't
But you come
have to cut me off.
Oh.
Acting like
Okay. Serious question. So, one event that the admins advertised at the last general body meeting was Radlands, which is a Nerf event that is held by a third party. Our former president Ben Trask, who is
I don't think he was president.
okay, our very much our
Our
beloved
former person, Trask.
our beloved administrator, who has long since graduated. But this is an event that they have been promoting, and it seems to be one of the most interesting events this semester. In fact, many of us are more interested in going to Radlands than we are in HVC at all.
Tenfold.
Are you guys concerned that the admins cannot create more interest than in their own events than in a third-party event? Do you think that you can motivate the community to be more internally interested as rather than sentimental?
Well, I'll actually.
There were 2 hands raised, and the only one
Why
not
don't we
raised
start
was
with Lee this time?
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds good.
Alright. Well, I've never been to any of these events. But from what I understand, these events have aspects to it that we wouldn't have been able to do even like in the height of what HVZ was. It's just not something that we could do without the resources that Trask has.
Fires, explosives.
So
he did
yeah,
no explosives on campus, actually.
yeah, but that's I
He
don't
did.
think that's really.
It's
not practical anymore.
Okay. Anyway, so yeah, like with all of the resources that he has, it's obvious. Like the people who really enjoy HVZ in that format are obviously going to be a little more excited for it because there are more toys to play with. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the admins are doing a bad job. Let's remember, guys, if we get elected, we're going to be working with the admins, so we need to understand how they think, and we need to know that some things aren't one single group of people's fault. The drop in the player base isn't the sole fault of one particular group of people. It had to do with the blaster ban, it had to do with advertising, it had to do with just the zombie fad itself is fading.
We're going to make a copy right now.
Go get yourself a copy.
So it's frustrating that a lot of people are not as hyped for the game, but I don't think we can blame Radlands and say that that's like a black eye on the club. That's something separate.
We've done enough of that. No.
Well, my question was less about whether or not it is Radland's fault, and more about do you think you can make players more interested in the internal games than in Radlands itself? Because right now Radlands seems to be the most hyped event, and do you think that that the hype about Radlands is detracting from the hype around any other internal activities?
Can I try this one, actually? I think what Lee was going for is Trask has so much at his disposal to make the game.
Vehicles.
He's time, vehicles, space. Bigger financial budget, more.
He builds his own freaking huts.
Like this is his living.
Yeah, and he's more time and
Trenches.
He's a bigger number of people at his command to act as NPCs and moderators of the game.
People actually paid to do this.
We don't have those resources, but I think we can use Radlands as a way to spark interest in HVC.
I was actually going to say
Yeah, you bring people to Radlands and they say, this is awesome. And you say, hey, we have something that's a little more low-key at UMass for a whole 2 weeks. I think that should be used.
1 week.
Yeah,
Whole
1 week. 1 week.
No.
That's longer than 12 hours. So, I mean, they're different games, but they have a lot of similarities that I think we can use to our advantage. Anyway.
Well, you just mentioned though that part of it, in your opinion, is that the zombie fad is dying down.
It is.
It's
I'm not denying.
not really.
I'm not agreeing or denying this. I'm saying indifferent to it. But one question I would say is, do you think we need a rebranding for HVZ? That's a good question.
I don't. Despite the fact that the zombie fad is dying down, with every dying fad, there are things that stay, things that endure despite everything else around it disappearing. And I think that we should make it our goal. That's what stays. That's how we endure. Like, Humans vs. Zombies doesn't need to change, like, what the name of the game. Because it's essentially, there's always going to be some interest in zombies. It's not going to be, like, huge like it was, but I think if we stick to that, like, when everything else changes, that should be the core thing that stays the same. Just so that we know where we came from, we know what we were, we know what we are, we know what we will be.
Let's go back to the original question and let the other rest of couch answer.
Sorry.
I know. You did good. Like,
I think you deserve a round.
yeah, you got. After we cut you off 12 times, you got your moment.
Are we doing Radlands still?
I think we're still on the Radlands question.
Yes, I believe you were doing Radlands.
So I would actually agree with Dan on this, where Radlands wouldn't take away from player interest in the game. I feel like it would actually do the exact opposite, because if we use that as our form of advertisement and say, hey, later on in spring, there's this really awesome event that's going to happen that's going to feature A, B, and C, that's going to be 12 hours of pure excitement and crazy adrenaline rushes. I feel like that would give people a lot more incentive to join us as a kind of way to prepare for that.
Agreed.
I personally like the idea of Radlands.
Also, should we cut this because it's 32 minutes? And then
Yeah, we'll wind down a little bit.
I like
some time.
the idea of Radlands because you get to connect with alumni. A lot of alumni are going to be there, and they can promote the game even more.
Yep.
One thing that I'm not a huge fan about Radlands is that it costs around $30 or $40. I know a lot of people already cannot afford to pay for that, and we're on a college campus, we're college students, we're paying our bills and textbooks. However, I believe that we can promote more events. What's up?
I believe that we would.
Continue.
But
We can promote more.
we can definitely promote more events, and since HVZ doesn't require blasters, blowpipes, they're around like a
50 a piece.
exactly.
Cheap.
Like, we can get them really cheap.
In fact, we actually have a ton of them already.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We have an excess amount.
Yeah, they're selling for $1 in PVC. If you want copper, it's like $3.
And to
It's
build
like
a LARP sword, it's not that expensive as well. And
Great way to recycle too.
Yeah. Absolutely. Couldn't agree more.
and I feel that we should be advertising that more. Like HVZ and a lot of other games, they're not cost expensive.
That's true. HVZ is cheap. That's
Exactly.
a big seller right there.
Like
Well, HVC's a lot cheaper now.
Yeah.
It used to not be cheap. My
Like half
goodness.
the game
Well,
supplies are.
Yeah, it could always be
Yeah.
cheap if you just stay away from
Socks.
glass. But yeah, socks are pretty expensive.
I know, but like,
I bought a hammer shot right after last spring.
Yeah.
I can't
I
even
gotta
talk
start
about how
thinking
many
about
socks I lost last
my
year.
I just have one
my
more,
nerf
and then I'm all
was
set on
so
questions.
good.
What do you guys think about fundraising? Do you guys have any ideas for future fundraising ideas?
Are we allowed to fundraise?
Yeah, well, as an SGA RSO, you're, I don't want to say required, but you're encouraged to make your own money and have your own kind of rescue fund for a rainy day.
I was not aware that.
And also,
Yeah,
we
I haven't seen a lot
so
from massgames, so that'd be
Okay,
nice.
I know I'm part of House Council. I know for House Council you're not allowed to fundraise, so I didn't know if that was the same for our.
and actually, one thing.
Brendan,
just gonna-
I've been a house council advisor for 2 years. We weren't allowed to fundraise, so that is definitely a question we need to ask our advisor, Julie, before proceeding.
Yeah, no, well, I was just at the budget meeting the other day, the RCC budget meeting.
And they said you could.
Yeah, well, I mean, they have a whole budget, and factoring in the budget is the revenue that you make.
Really?
And a big thing that they want to see is clubs taking initiative and making their own money.
Yeah.
I'm always down for cookies.
And also,
I was thinking
money that we fundraise is a lot easier to access than our budget from DSG.
That's why they encourage it.
Out of curiosity, do you know our budget?
I don't know our budget. I'm not.
I don't
an
believe
admin,
the
not
budget's-
an EBoard.
Also, the budgets haven't been released or
Okay.
decided yet.
Yeah. No.
Basically-
they're due in a month or so.
Yeah, like sometime in March, because basically what happens is everyone gets a turn to be like, here's why we need money, please, and then the board goes, we'll think about it. Next!
Usually they also they prefer if you don't publicize how much you are getting funded.
Yes, you're not
And
supposed
so,
to tell.
I mean, some people might be like, yeah, sure, this is what we get, but they don't just publicly advertise saying, hey, we have this much. So,
But I mean, a big thing is if you can say this is how much we need. Let's say we need $2,000, and this is how much we made last year, like $1,000. You've shown them that you're supplying half of the budget right there, and that's gonna make you a little more willing to put money towards the club.
This is 36 minutes,
Do you
guys.
guys want to have some closing remarks, G?
I mean, it is a
Well,
presidential
we also didn't
interview.
address your question about how we'd go
Oh,
about
yeah.
we discussed.
Nobody
we
raised
just
their hand
kinda talked
directly, so I was like,
How the question is valid.
Yeah.
So, the very generic one is the obvious bake sale where because everyone loves sweets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were-
It's a classic.
But I feel like there's a wide variety of ways you can raise money by doing all sorts of like ridiculous things. We could do raffles with some kind of small
We have
prizes.
done raffles. We did the ones for the posters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously you being the mascot for HVC.
Oh yeah, because they had a poster.
I'd like to maybe do that Elite Four challenge again.
That'd be cool.
We could also reach out to town communities.
Do you want to explain that a little bit? The Elite Four challenge?
Elite Four.
Oh, I remember that. I didn't go to it.
I feel like that if we got a bunch of us around, like we could play like a couple matches, like spend $1, get to face off against a few people and stuff. And you and Scott and Jay was Ben there?
No, well, he was.
He was one of the players in it.
Yeah. And
Just
I was
Kevin.
You guys had a fantastic time, and that was probably the best encounter last semester.
Yeah, it was.
Thank you.
It was a lot
Me
of
too.
fun and lasted longer than most commissions.
And that was a
I
Friday.
wouldn't say that.
That
Yeah.
was a Friday at midnight, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would
And-
also, I'd also like to bring up. Remember the first time you were on the poster? It was for winning the
There's
pay to
something like
enter
Yeah, and they had donations.
Thunderdome donations thing.
That was fun.
That was wicked fun, and I don't know why we don't do it.
They were here with
It
that.
was amazing.
It would have been spring our freshman year.
I'm not the same year as you.
Oh, you're not.
Yeah, he's a year younger.
Yeah,
would've been-
I'm
Oh, okay.
their year.
All right.
Yeah, so
It would have been the spring before you showed up.
Yeah.
What we had was in the ISB courtyard.
Hi,
We
Brandon.
would all kind of gather around, and we have teams of 2, and they face off round robin against each other, and it would be first one that gets hit goes down. They'd have a wide arrangement of Nerf weapons or toys, and each person would get, or each team would get 6 darts, so you could distribute them as you wanted between the blasters, and you just go at it.
That sounds awesome.
It
That
was
was
awesome,
amazing.
and they wouldn't charge you. They just had donations on the side for if you wanted to help out.
And did it make money?
Yes.
I know I threw $20 in there,
Same.
so it was fun.
Yeah.
If it works, it works.
Yeah, right.
What would the money be spent on though?
Posters probably.
Posters, yeah. It was to pay for
Yeah,
posters.
Unfortunately, like,
Maintaining the webpage.
Posters and
It has
webpage
been-
are the biggest costs.
It has
in
been
mass games.
discussed among current admins as well as potential upcoming admins in that posters. We should really lay off the posters because it is a massive.
And I don't find them too effective.
I voted for crayon drawn posters. Brendan.
Back to the 2v2. I feel like maybe we could reach out to former alumni. I feel like they would have a blast.
Kimbo's coming up this weekend, so
Yeah.
that's the time.
I definitely do think that'd be a good idea to bring back.
It's gonna be tricky with
Although, I would say we probably shouldn't spend as much on posters, especially with you running for treasurer. I should know.
Now that we're in charge of the funds, I don't think we should.
Yeah.
What job?
I have a follow-up question then for Jay, since you're running for treasurer.
Alright, well actually I'd just like to finish this one
Finish.
part of my
He's
statement.
like, well.
There's alternative methods of advertising, since this being a small, well, not a small campus, but a small area with many people in it. Also, with it being academic-based, Kevin brought up the idea of actually getting permission from professors to have like a small skit in the middle of class or
Hey.
something. What?
That's my idea.
Oh, I'm sorry. Dan brought up the idea.
Aww.
Trask and
Because
Buzz-
it was Trask and
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've actually suggested I do that.
Because that's actually
and Grandbeth.
free, and I feel like that would get significantly more attention than posters would.
And I feel like if professors love the idea, they might even talk about our game in class too.
Yeah.
It's a little long shot, but
I've had professors ask if they can sign up before.
yeah, right. I
Yeah.
know
Find
professors
those
that are-
professors.
Yeah, I know professors that are really enthusiastic about the game, so it's
The classic.
Actually, though, like find those professors and ask them if they would.
You don't
Time is
understand.
advertise
The
in-
classics
It's
department
9:20.
has their own Nerf swords.
do you want to throw anything?
And I
at
think
Jason?
if
People are talking.
I was gonna get to that after we just finish up this.
yeah, I think if
Brendan.
we were
Don't try to-
able to
Yeah.
use cheaper advertising methods such as that, we'd be able to save a significant amount of money that can go towards equipment to enhance missions or other things of the sort.
Yeah.
Basically, a way that we can give back to our players instead of trying to get them to sign up for something that they may or may not enjoy.
I like free things.
Free things are nice.
Did you have?
I did. About half the budget goes to the website.
Okay.
How do you plan to make that cost, to mitigate that cost?
How much is if we don't have numbers? How much is like that's?
Yeah, I don't think we can really.
It's
We don't have the
hard to
budget
say.
in front of us.
Yeah.
I did though,
You did.
because I was an admin, so I know
but
exactly how
since
much
we're
it's
not
going
since
to
we're not pitching the numbers
I
back and
was.
forth, it's kind of hard to.
I was for the summer.
Oh, that's a
Yes.
thing?
Yeah.
I mean for the summer?
Well, no, I was supposed to be a junior admin, but I quit before fall came up.
Ah.
Yeah,
I feel like with the website, it's one of
I thought I
the.
saw your name on that.
I was, and then I stopped.
I feel like it's one of the necessities for H3C. So that's probably a price that's non-negotiable or very close to that. So I think we could keep our spending there, but make up for it by cutting our spending in other places.
That's fair. That's fair because the posters are definitely
And like even the fundraising could then also help.
Yeah, you need fundraising ideas for balance.
Because the website is mainly for our players and to make sure that they're able to interact with the game and stay up to date with what's happening.
To be fair, the posters did end up getting a lot of attention. The problem is it got the attention of the administration. That's how the ban happened.
Yeah.
Well,
Because they saw the
that's how
busters
they
on the
claim.
posters.
That's how they claim.
That's how they claim, but that's how they
They
got
had
it.
their eye on us for a while.
We can shove it somewhere else.
This
We're getting
is
off
a
topic.
recorded video.
Brendan, last response, and then we'll hear your closing statements.
I feel that like over spring break and during summer, we should be looking for cheaper alternatives so that way we can use our budget more towards the players. You know, always be open to.
Grand drawings on used paper already.
Exactly.
Yep, I like it.
Draw on the back of your tests and
Yes.
then tape it so that the test side is
Yep.
facing the wall so that no one has to know when
You
you
can
failed.
spam everyone with emails. Emails are
Let's
free.
do it.
That's what we need to focus on.
Man, look at Sam the Minuteman. Everyone loves him.
Right? oh,
Oh,
God.
Jesus
Making
Christ.
a lot of emails.
Whipple? Oh, jeez.
Jesus Christ,
That's
Sam,
his name,
please stop.
Yeah, I
I
think
remember that. I wouldn't know that if I didn't get emails from all
Jesus
the time.
Christ, Sam, Coach
We need
Whipple,
your support
please
of the
stop.
game that we're gonna lose. Alright.
Thanks, fam.
Okay.
He hasn't been in the shot for the last 40 minutes.
I know.
Neither of you.
He should be for closing
Speeder
statements.
right there. Alright.
You're
Let's have-
one to talk, Ben.
Brendan, scooch in for closing statements, and why don't you start us off with that? I think we'll start with you, go down the line, and finish up.
Alright. I just want to say thank you all for your support. If
Not now, Ben.
But it's the
You should
final
do the time
countdown. It's the final countdown.
the final count.
Continue. You were saying.
But anyways, thank you all for your support. If I win the position, I look forward to working with each and every single EBoard member as well as all the members of our team and community. And if not elected, I still look forward to working with all of you. Thank you.
That's a good.
So I actually do not have any motion to throw into my closing statement. I feel like a lot of what needed to be said was in the last 40 minutes of this video.
Which I'm sure you will watch in
Hi,
its
Kimbo.
entirety.
Hi, all of you who skipped to the end.
Hey!
So for anyone that skipped the last 40 minutes and is here right now, basically to sum up why I think I should be part of the EBoard is, in my last year and a half of playing this game, all I wanted to do is find ways to make it a lot more fun for the players and just make it better overall in any way I possibly can. It doesn't sound too convincing, but believe in me, guys.
Lee, bring us home, kid.
Alright, okay, so I think I have a lot I can bring to the table. Over the summer, I actually ran a game of Assassins, so I know what it means to manage a game of like 40 people, which right now is our player base.
Oh!
Dark blasted.
Either way, obviously this will be a step up in the scale and just level of depth. But I think I'm ready for it. And I've been specifically the vice president of several different organizations before, so I'm very good at being number 2. So, vote for me. I will do stuff and things will happen.
Yeah. Is that anything you want to say before? Yeah.
You got a punch, then crank back 3 times from left to right.
And we out.
That's what we ended it with.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's what we ended it with.
The people